Hello, everybody. Hopefully you are doing well. I know we are at the mid-afternoon slog, just kind of trying to push through, but thank you so very, very much for being here. And I would like to welcome you to All the World's a Stage, a 50-minute hilarious romp through the world of theater, education, and arts integration in curriculum. Now, I have to admit, as we are getting started, I am not what you would call a PowerPoint person. It is not historically my style at all, but I'm here. I'm going to give it my best. We're going to push through. I'm not sure if this is going to last 5 minutes or 5 hours. It's interesting with the webinar because I can't have first graders muting and unmuting telling me that they lost a tooth or not during this. So like my pacing may be just way off, right? But that being said, if you have recently lost a tooth, then I'm proud of you. And I think you're amazing. And I think that's awesome. So thank you so very much for being here. Now, yes, this is a theater education workshop on Zoom during a global pandemic, just as God intended. Yes, it's not exactly what I would call the perfect scenario, but I do think that I have some stuff that you can use in your classroom, theater or not, right? Moving forward, that's going to help you maybe understand your students better, or just, give you some tips and tricks along the way to help you grow as an educator. Now, I know what you're thinking, right? Another Zoom meeting. Great. You're also probably thinking, look at that handsome guy. Wow, what a jacket. Yes. Well, I guess you want to know, who in the world am I? My name is Chad Talon. I am a professional educator, professional actor, and a Chicago Cubs fan. I wear the hat to show my allegiance, and also because I've never come to terms with the fact that I'm bald. And so I wear it because it's a safety shield. But I'm currently a kindergarten through 8th grade theater teacher at Thomas Metcalf School in Bloomington, Illinois. I've been doing that job for about 5 years. I love it very much. But also, I think as an artist, it's important to always continue with your passion, whatever that passion is, right? And so I always spend my summers working as an actor. So I spend usually the end of May through early August working professionally. Recently, that's been up in Minnesota for the past 5 years at Tibbetts Opera House in Coldwater, Michigan, but I've been all over the place. Before I was a teacher, I did some national tours. I'm sure you haven't seen them, so I won't get into that. And if you're like my students, you might ask, have I seen you in any commercials or movies? No. All right, so I wanted to give myself some structure when it came to what this workshop is and what I wanted to do. Before I even get into this rule of 3, I did want to say that I am going to move fast. You may already be picking up on that. If you have anything that you would like to say or questions to ask, please put them in the chat. I'm so focused on what's happening that it may not be until the end that we check, but I definitely want to leave some time at the end to talk to you guys, right? Being a theater artist, it's all about collaboration, listen, receive, listen, receive. Being a teacher is the same way, right? And so I want to be able to talk back and forth and come up with ideas, and hopefully we have time to do that. So anyway, that being said, in theater, there's something that's called the rule of 3. It's mostly with comedy. You have things that happen in 3 bits. The same is going to be for this presentation. Okay, so here's the super objective of what we're going to talk about today. Part 1 is going to be the internet connection. This is going to be talking about some tips that I've learned from my theater education and my acting experience, right? And it's going to be tips to help you with e-learning, which hopefully is winding down as it goes, right? Number 2 is the curriculum connection, implementing the arts for student engagement. And number 3 is the we aren't so special, but man, we're awesome connection, which I want to just reach out to you and let you know how amazing you are. And it's awesome that we do what we do, okay? So, the internet connection, part 1. It's like the rainbow connection, but there's less Kermit the Frog. Now, I'm sure you're laughing at that joke at home, but since I can't hear you, I'm going to tell myself that you're laughing, because otherwise I would cry. For some of you future teachers, you might not even know what the rainbow connection is, and that makes me very sad. So here's where we're going with this. This all started about a month ago when I had a social studies teacher who I teach with. He came to me and he said, Chad, you're an actor, right? I feel like I'm struggling in the classroom. I'm struggling connecting with the kids on Zoom. I'm in this slog. What theater techniques do you have, right? What have you learned from all your film classes that can help me succeed? And I said, I don't know, nothing really. And he told me to think about it and to write him an email. And I did, and he loved it. And he's like, this is exactly what I needed. And so I started to think that maybe I have some inherent things that I've learned about throughout my years of taking acting classes and all of that good stuff that can help us as educators teaching on this computer in this little box. And hopefully I can impart some of that stuff with you. And I'm going to do it in a David Letterman style top 10 list. So let's start. Number 10, the moment before. Now, the first 3, so number 10, number 9, and number 8 are all sort of acting techniques that I learned when I was getting my master's back in 2010. These are from a Russian actor and director named Konstantin Stanislavski, and they help actors step into a role. I often say that as educators, we're also stepping into a role once we step in front of a class every moment, because it doesn't matter what's going on in our lives at that time. We are, in essence, a character, right? It's even more so with teaching online in Zoom. The moment before, what that means is you are thinking about what your students are doing the moment before when you are actually in a classroom, and what you would be doing the moment before when you are actually in a classroom, and getting yourself mentally set into that to set yourself up for success. When you're teaching from home, maybe you have children, maybe you have a dog, maybe you just got done taking your dog out to go to the bathroom, and then you have to slide back in, and you're there, and you're just not ready. Setting yourself in to say, what was I doing in class right before this? How do I make this happen if I was teaching in class? Gets you just a little mental tick that puts you in a spot to say, I'm in class, I'm ready to go. So take just that moment before to get yourself ready. Number 9, what's the objective? Now, we know as an educator that the objective, the super objective, is obviously to teach these children, right? To teach them, to make them better human beings. But we're in a global pandemic. Life is very hard right now for me, for you, for everybody, and especially these kids. So what's the real objective of today's class? What do these kids need, right? That often means not getting lost in the work, not putting yourself in a focus to where I've got to get this done, I've got to get this done, I've got to get this done. Maybe today the kids don't need that, right? Maybe the objective needs to be to make them smile. Maybe the objective needs to be to, I don't know, make yourself smile, just to talk and listen. Get yourself out of that box of just focus on this needs to get done, this needs to get done, because it's all going to happen. I promise you, it is all going to happen. So look, assess the situation, and realize what's your objective. Number 8 is change the tactics. Okay. Now, we know as an actor, right? When you have a tactic, it's how you achieve a goal, right? Sometimes things have to change. My first week back, to school, I came into class with a group of 8th graders, and I was so excited because we were going to do a 10-minute playwriting festival. We're going to do it on Zoom. It's going to be amazing. I made this whole PDF PowerPoint thing, which I never do. Never. I'm not a worksheet guy. We're always up and moving. I'm like, here's this. You're going to do sound design. You're going to do set design. You're going to do a playbill. This is amazing. And I'm hyping it up. I'm super excited. I know they're going to love it. I tell them, and they stare at me like I'm a clown. Okay. And I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. For real? Like, I worked so hard. And they just kind of didn't care, right? And they didn't care, but like, they didn't give me the response that I wanted. And I'm like, okay, this isn't gonna be as hyped up and amazing as I thought. Maybe I'm gonna have to change things just a tiny bit. And so, yeah, I was just, sorry, I just looked at chat for the first time. You can tell that I'm like, gonna put the chat back down. I saw my name and I got scared. Savannah, I hope you can see my video. I hope you got that figured out. But yeah, I was so pumped, right? And then it didn't work out the way I wanted to. And that's okay, right? Because we're all new to this. Every single one of us. We've never taught during a global pandemic before. Things are going to be off sometimes, right? They're going to be not good. And we'll have to change, right? So what I always like to say is just bring yourself some options, right? We're going to try all these different things. And this is stuff that you're probably already doing, right? I should have said that way before. Most of this stuff you're probably already doing because you're educators, you're amazing, and you're awesome, right? But I'm just trying to pump it up a little bit here too, right? And so that's something to definitely think about. Another big thing is that you need to, at the end of every day, kind of reflect, reassess, and forgive yourself for classes that stink, right? Assess what happened and what went well. And also just let your kids reflect. Let the students kind of reflect and say, this is what worked, this is what didn't. You will be surprised. Once kids become, depending on what grades you teach, right? Once you start to give them like reflection sheets, you'll find out that like they just put up walls and they really enjoy it. And so I would suggest that that's a step that you take too, right? Ask for their feedback and ask for their genuine feedback, because you might not have the answers, but they might. All right. Number 7, a little bit of improv to embrace the bad. Yikes. If you've ever watched Whose Line Is It Anyway? If you ever taken improv classes or acting classes, you know there's one rule to improv, and that is to not say no. You say yes and. Something happens, you take it, you say yes, and how am I going to make this work? So let me tell you, for those of you who have not taught early elementary, right? You have never experienced your life like teaching a first grade class and the internet starts to go out where you're teaching and you start to see them glitch and you're like losing them on the screen. You're like, oh, they're starting, like he froze, it's his problem. And then you're like, oh no, she froze. And you're like, oh God. And like, abort ship, like this is bad. And then you go, internet goes, right? Have you ever got back on? It's like, how do they create so much mayhem in 30 seconds? They're all off mute. It's absolute anarchy in the Zoom room. It's incredible, right? But you have to take it and just embrace it and say, okay, moving on. What's going to be next, right? Same thing happens with like, maybe kids don't show up. Maybe kids aren't getting anything. Maybe just the way that it feels at that moment isn't working. When we're on Zoom, we don't have that inherent energy in class, right? Of like, this is what's going on. And when we're teaching, we can usually feel that. In Zoom, you can't, right? And so with the check-ins, you have to know that, okay, is this working? This isn't working. All right, yes, and how am I gonna fix it? And you just have to trust that the end result's going to be there, right? Trust the process and your product is going to be great, okay? If you focus on just each lesson for the day, then it could cause a little bit of a problem, right? Number 6, Personal check-ins. Now, I need to be fair. This was given to me by one of my colleagues who, she said she was going to come. So Camille, if you're here, hi. We all crave that connection and desire to be seen, each and every one of us, right? Try to do a personal connection with your students each day, every single one of them. At the beginning, right, is probably the best. No matter the age range, they want to be connected. They want to be connected. They want to be, looked at, right? And so when you do that and you let them know that you see them, that could absolutely make their day and change the way they go moving forward. And so I always like to make that happen. But you need to also know that if you don't get that done, if you don't say their name that day, because I know I deal when I have 25 kids, sometimes you have to click screens and they're on a different screen and you haven't really seen them because you're pushing through. Forgive yourself. You're not gonna be perfect at it, and that's okay. But try to make that personal connection each day with each child, because it's lonely out there right now, and they're gonna rely on you for that. Okay. Number 5, product placement. Now, the most important thing that I ever learned in acting for the film class is that it's incredibly hard to take a drink while having the logo out, and it's incredibly hard to eat a chip and take 2 bites and then explain what the chip is, okay? If you haven't taken action for film class, that's your homework tonight. Take a Pringle, take a couple bites and try to say, this Pringle is delicious. It is incredibly hard. Now that's obviously a joke, but product placement is something that I am actually really terrible at in terms of setting up your classroom, right? My internet is shoddy, right? So I'm actually in a different room today than I teach in usually, but so many of you excel at setting up your classroom to be very, very exciting from Zoom, right? And I think that's something that it's probably so important, right? You've got that, either it's a Google background or you set up. Many, many years ago, 5 years ago, I was going to do one of those teaching English to students who are not from America at 3 a.m., one of those programs, right, for additional income when I was an actor. And I watched some of the tutorials and I saw all these teachers with their whiteboards and the frills and the cool stuff in the back. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way. When I Zoom at home, teachers make fun of me because this is my background. It's white. My house is white. I have nothing up, right? So, but I do think setting up an engaging thing, if you can, right, or a background is something that's incredibly important. Number 4, embrace vulnerability, okay? The scariest part about becoming an actor and acting training is being vulnerable, opening yourself up to successes and failures. Right, for me right now, what's happening at this very moment is I'm being incredibly vulnerable, right? I saw something pop up on the Q&A. I'm not sure if that's a question, and I see the chat down there, which I want to check into at the end. And that's scary. And I've never done anything like this before, so this is very scary, and this is being vulnerable, right? But I have to own it. I have to own that moment. And we have to own that as teachers, right? Because if you're vulnerable and you let them know that you're vulnerable and you show them parts of you that show that you aren't perfect, that you have flaws, that to me is what matters. And that's going to build those relationships with your students, and that's going to help them tremendously moving forward. That's going to help them learn. This is going to help them respect you more. I know that a lot of times we put up walls and say, this is how it's going to go. And I'm going to, and it's just, they're going to respect me because they fear me. That's definitely, I'm not saying that people do that, but that was just an example. That to me, I want them to know me. I want them to see me. And when I'm having a bad day, I'm not saying I'm going to go to a first grader and be like, oh, I got a speeding ticket today. But if you're feeling sad, we're talking about things, talk about that. We should be talking about how we feel, because they can see and they know when you're being real, right? And that's important. And the bottom part here on the chat that I'm looking at is, you don't know everything, take time to learn. I think it's incredibly important. I have been in schools where there are teachers who it's like, man, that guy thinks he knows everything. We don't know anything. We're just the surface, right? And we're trying our best. So we don't need to act like we know everything. That's for what it's worth. Number 3, energy, energy, energy. This is probably going to be surprising to you. This is something that I have quite a bit of. This kind of takes a step back from the stage to screen aspect of like acting training, right? When you're trained as an actor, I'm trained as a stage actor, which is different because everything's got to be big, right? Big gestures, big sound, big movement. It's all over the place in order to read to the audience. When you have camera training, you're taught to like be still, look at the camera, every little gesture, right? Like, I don't know why I'm doing that. Who pulls on their beard? But like every little thing is reflected. And I don't think that that's necessary. If you've seen the movie Spinal Tap, right? You want to crank it up to 11 because we can't feel that energy. We talked about that before. So I want you to give that energy to them through the screen, right? Just pump it up. Yesterday, I had to go to a 3rd grade class. And I didn't have to, I wanted to. I wanted to go to a 3rd grade class at 8 a.m. And the homeroom teacher was starting the class. And I got in, and I'm not a morning person, just for the record. Not gonna, just sleepy. And so 8 a.m., the kids start popping on. She's got music jamming. She's dancing. She's saying their names. And I'm like, that's incredible. Oh my goodness. Like, yes, pump it up. Pump it up. Like, that's the kind of stuff that they thrive on. You're going to get that back from those kids. You know, you get what you receive, right? And they get what I put, you get what you receive, right? So like, but if you give, right, you will receive it back, I think is what I meant to say. Unless they're older than 12. Okay. And this is where the reflection sheets come in with my middle schoolers. Highest grade I teach is 8th. Full transparency, been having a really, really hard time with my 8th graders. Okay. Really, really hard time in terms of figuring out if what we have is working or not. And I have them reflect, and I've been stern with them in terms of be honest with me. You need to be honest with me. And these kids are all about it, right? They may not, we're going to talk a little bit about that later, about putting up walls. They may not give you what you think, but it's reaching them. And I think that they're going to appreciate that pump. Yeah, I'm going to need to speed through. We are going to have to go. Number 2, there was an article written about this the other day. This is crazy. This doesn't seem like a big deal to me, but it may be important to you, right? And I'm going to try to talk about it briefly. Stare at the green dot. When we're teaching class, right? When we are teaching class, we see the kids on the screen. But if I'm looking and I'm saying, hey, Billy, hey, Jane, hey, Martha, right? I'm not looking at the camera. Kids want to be seen. And even though the kids are down there, looking at the camera is actually the way to look at them. They can tell that you're looking at them this way, even though you're not looking at them. This little disconnect, it makes a huge difference, right? Well, I did see this. There a link to the slideshow? There we go. Full presentation will be posted next week, right? So these little things are big, right? Stare at that dot. This is a big acting technique, right? When you're looking at the camera, you're not looking at your acting partner, you're looking here because they receive it that way. All right. Number 1, trust yourself, love yourself, forgive yourself. Because we're short on time, I can't give you as many air hugs as I want to right now. I really do. But I've said it a million times. You're in this profession because you matter and because you're important and because you're amazing. Know what you're good at. Trust that you're good at it. Love yourself when you're great. Love yourself when you're awful, and just be who you are. If you're going to be a new teacher, don't ever forget that. Be passionate about what you do. Know what's here, right? And do it. Make it happen. Okay? It's the biggest thing that I can say. Part 2. We've reached the second half-ish. The curriculum connection. All right? This is using the arts to enhance the learning and the experience of your students, okay? So here's a little history about why this is important to me. 2014, I was working as an actor, and then I got a full-time job in Syracuse, New York at the Red House Arts Center. They hired 12 of us to work. They hired 3 actors, 3 musicians, 3 dancers, 3 technicians. And we were in charge of building a arts curriculum for the Syracuse City School District. The fact is that I want to tell you now, I'm flipping pages for notes here that I had that I've looked at like once. I spent 3 hours on it. I'm not even looking. It's incredible. I'm a mess sometimes. So we take that, right? And we were hired because in Syracuse, like the Syracuse City School District was failing, right? Kids weren't showing up, test scores were bad, social and emotional health was terrible. And so they added an hour to the school day for enrichment, right? Enrichment. And they wanted to figure out something. So they got in contact with the Red House Art Center and said, build this curriculum, okay? Now, our job was not to go into those schools and teach theater, dance, music, lighting. Our job was to help with their curriculum to enhance what they were doing using skills that we had. So we worked for like a month to do that, and it's still going on to this day. Out of the 12 of us, now the program, there's like 60, the 12 of us have all kind of gone off. We were like the real world for a little bit, but only like one is left. It's like Saved by the Bell, the new class, like Screech stayed, but everyone else is gone doing their own thing. But what we did, the work we did was so valuable, and I think that it's like incredibly important. So I'm gonna talk to you a little bit. But first, let's talk about why that's important, okay? Gets things moving. Students learn more when they're on their feet. I actually saw this study from 2015, Texas A&M, they, over the course of a year of high school freshmen, they did a kind of a study to look at like these freshmen who learned while sitting down, and they had another class stand up. I'm talking about standing desks, okay, which is kind of a side, that's not exactly what I'm talking about, but yeah, they had them at standing desks. And they tested throughout the year, and they found that like those students who were standing, their attention was better, and they ended up like their test scores improved. And that's not exactly what I mean, but they do say when students are up and moving around the space, like there are brain terminology that I can't really explain about like the frontal lobe growth and things of that nature. That's above my pay grade. But I do know from experience that when I'm learning Shakespeare by move. I have to memorize by being up and getting kids moving, right? Always have your kids find something that you can do to get them on their feet, right? Number two, just cognitive improvement, right? The linking of having kids working together and doing groups or work that has art and music, but is involved with math, like all of that connection, right? The cognitive improvement that happens by that sort of integration is incredibly important. There was a 2009 study that showed, do you like that? I just moved my chair to make it look like I wasn't looking at my notes of when that year was. If you didn't catch it, I just let you in on my secret. In 2009, there was a study that was done. I mean, and it's just, I think it's common sense, right? Students learn when they pay attention. Cognitive improvement happens when they pay attention. Kids are smarter when they pay attention. Right now, what do kids pay attention to? Entertainment, music, all that kind of stuff, right? Bring that to them, get them paying attention to what's happening, and they're going to learn, right? Collaboration, the growth mindset, number 3, right? A collaborative challenge helps students grow. We're all about the growth mindset, okay? And number 4 is it's fun. More importantly, there's nothing wrong with stickers. I love stickers. I love scratch and sniff Snickers. I love scratch and sniff stickers. Not the root beer ones. They smell kind of weird, but like all the other stuff is pretty solid. But those are great, but you kind of want to get them like that intrinsic motivation to like, something is fun. I want to be motivated because I want to do it. When you add theater and art and all of this great stuff into it, they're going to want to do it. Most of them are going to want to do it. And so if you get them involved into that, you're ready to go. Okay. So here's a tip of the iceberg. I will not speak much on it, but some things that you can do with these sort of examples, and I will get more into it here in a second, right? But talk about music, dance, acting, playwriting, design, filmmaking. These can go into any of your classes, right? And there's technology for all of this kind of stuff. Not dance as much, but like great music making work things for iPads and all of that kind of stuff. But we're looking at, music with composition, singing, rhythm games, creating song work. That's math, right? That's math. And you can do it about anything. Dance, I'll get to that later. I'm sure you can tell by my physique, I am no Fred Astaire. I am no Fred Astaire. But everything that we write always has a dance component to it, right? We just move and it rocks. And it's just an important piece to the whole connection. Acting and playwriting, there's research that they can do, performance. A lot of times I think that's the struggle when it's like, how do you integrate theater? Like, what do they just put on a play? Just put on a play? What, like a math play? Oh yeah, the quadratic equation play. No, but sometimes you just write a play. But there are other things that you can do that also help with that. Design, costume, lighting, set, right? A lot of that is math, a lot of costumes. Kids love costumes. If you're a theater person and you've directed a show, it's the second day of rehearsal, nobody even knows what parts you're playing yet, and they'll be like, Mr. T, when we get our costumes? So that just helps with like that intrinsic motivation too. I guess, yeah. And then filmmaking, this is like a lot for the older kids. I find that like podcasts and stuff like that are crazy cool for them to do, but storyboarding and doing live action and then like stop action, claymation, that kind of stuff is really, really great to just kind of touch on all of that. So here's some examples, but I want you to know that the world is yours to do whatever you want, okay? It's absolutely yours to do whatever you want with this. And at the end, if you want to collaborate, let's do it. Let's talk. But here are some examples of stuff that I've done, okay? Here's some early elementary examples. First off, solid alliteration, Chad. That's really good. I'm a big alliteration fan. It is very underrated in the history of literary terms. So good work. So here's some things that we worked on in Syracuse. Some of these were written by me. Some of them weren't. But in terms of like the curriculum, I should say that everything that we did were 2-week chunks that at the end we had a performance, or called a share performance, where there was always a show with an audience part where people would see what they learned, right? Or sometimes it was a walking museum or things like that. I think that that's something that's really, really important. So we talk about pre-KK, we're talking about emotions, right? With emotions, we would always do, we would have emotion songs, right? Like I said, with pre-K and K, these are things you're probably already doing, but like emotion dances. I'm literally doing this with my theater kids right now, with grades 1 and 2, actually, just because of the world's hard right now. And I think they're probably going through a lot. Like, how are they feeling? Let's dance it out, right? And so I'm up there dancing I'm teaching them dances via Zoom. Like this is something that you can obviously bring to the classroom. It's what it's meant for, but yeah, so we talk about emotions and you do emotion dances, because like, how do we move when we're sad? How do we move when we're fat? Like we move fast when we're happy, and like putting that into action and creating a dance to that. But also, big mask work, right? We would create masks of happy and sad and all that kind of stuff. And so they had costumes to put on as well. Weather. When we're learning the weather, it was the same sort of thing. You'll see early elementary is a lot of like costume dance heavy. But the curriculum we're learning about different types of weather and how things work. But we also had a rain dance and a sun dance and a tornado dance. And how do our bodies move when that happens? But then we made costumes, right? I've got a visor with a cloud, and I'm the cloud, and we're moving around. It's almost like the Waiting for Guffman characters when they're doing the play, but they're in first grade. So it's super cute, right? But putting that production into it really, really helped. This was my moneymaker. This is mine. So and then I'll move on from it. But second grade, greatest thing of all time, the 50 state fashion show. This was curriculum, 2-week curriculum that I wrote that was in terms of, I did a draft, right? Each kid drafted like NBA draft, picked out, they had their own state. Okay. So we learned obviously the Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, that whole thing. And we learned the Animaniac song, which we always do. What else did we do? They each got their own state. They each got a visor that had to represent their state bird. So we got feathers. We did that kind of art, right? We did that kind of art. And then we had a shirt that represented parts of their state, right? If they were Texas, they had, they would have the flag, and they would have things that represented Texas. And at the end, we had a fashion show. So I had like state music picked out, and they walked the runway, and they presented a fact about their state, and they turned and they walked around. So they're learning the states, they're learning the songs. At the end, they all sing it together, but you have that little extra component. Third grade, we did the same kind of thing with the rainforest exploration, right? We're at levels of the rainforest. each person was maybe a different animal of the rainforest. We did same thing, costume pieces with that, rainforest dance, music making, right? What does it sound like up in, you know, I'm bad, I haven't looked at the layers of the rainforest since I've done this unit, but what is this layer? What's going on here? Is it hot? Is it cold? Let's make sound to it, right? These sort of connections. Before I move on, and I'll go a little bit quicker through the next couple of examples, is just in regards to maybe some of the stuff, like how do we put art into it? Like how do we make it thrilling, and then we add these little components to it? Here's one thing, just a pro tip, and you may have, and maybe you're an art or a music teacher or somebody out there, right? And maybe you're not, maybe you're a homeroom teacher that you want to put some of the stuff in. What you should not do is then just ask a music teacher and be like, hey, do this music for me. Do this music. Hey, you should do this, right? Because they've got their own stuff to do too, right? And they're doing their own curriculum. It's a great chance to work together and collaborate, is what I mean. Oftentimes when people want to add like an artsy component, they'll be like, hey, I'm working on this. Hey, art teacher, you should help with this. It's like, well, that's not collaboration. That's just telling the art teacher what to do. Let's collaborate and work. And like, yeah, let's get excited about it and make that happen, right? It's something to be aware of. I'm not great at it either, right? If I get excited, I'll go to the art teacher and I'll say, hey, let's do this. It's like, oh, that's not collaboration. It's not collaboration. Like, let's get excited about it. If they're excited about it too, then it's great. But just saying lead a song or a dance and then saying, hey, music teacher, do it, not ideal. Some grades 4 through 8 examples. Alliteration, not as good on that one. We created a whole hip hop routine based on types of energy, right? You know, kinetic and potential energy and how that moves. And same thing, iPads, apps, how does the music sound? Creating beats, right? Which are helping with math scores, which are helping talking about, you know, how rhythm works. But then how does potential energy sound? How does kinetic energy sound? And what do we do? Then we start to dance, right? It was something that was awesome to see. Another one of my favorites were history reenactments. They did live television shows where they would storyboard and write out things about the Revolutionary War and then do live movies that they would edit at the end about the ride of Paul Revere, right? So they do the research on that, but it's this big whole movie that's being done. Graphing with beats was another one of my favorites. What we would do is that we would do beats in terms of like graphs, like for math, right? And we would create sound to each, you know, quadrant, and I'm not a math teacher, had its own situation, and we would create different music to it. And at the same time, at the end, we created like a cross classroom, like 2 different classes, like battleship game with the musics, and we would like try to sync each other's battleships with music and graphs. It was absolutely wild. Sometimes kids just need social emotional help. They need to listen more. We enhanced listening through recreating the sounds of the storm that happens in Shakespeare's play The Tempest. Those were like 7th graders, and their social emotionally, we had to talk about just treating people well and bullying. And we did that through Romeo and Juliet, and they had to rewrite it and then rewrite what happened if people listened to each other and got along. What could happen to these families if that worked out? So there was that. And then arts for art's sake for high school, right? I think that's important. Kids are at their point where they need to like hone their actual craft, and arts for art's sake is always important. It's always important. This is just something that can be add on that helps other things, right? I would just say you can give them some passion projects to work, right? Web series. They're in a TikTok. I don't have a TikTok. I don't know what a TikTok is. I know a clock TikToks. That's a dad joke. That's awful. But if you can find ways to put that in and connect, I think that's super, super awesome and super important. But how? Rely on each other. Do some research. National Core Art Standards are available to look and say, these are what the arts say. How can I integrate that into what I'm doing? Do what you love. You love Netflix, maybe. Maybe you love dance, you love reading. Integrate that into everything you're doing. Don't have it be 2 separate jobs. Put what you love into what you're doing, right? I love to act. I love to have fun. So I try to put that into everything that we do. And that all goes down to like, take off your armor. You are a teacher, but you are a human, and we all bleed the same blood. We bleed the same blood as them, right? Take that off and just be you. And don't be afraid to be silly, and don't be afraid to make mistakes, and don't be afraid to have fun, and don't be afraid to take risks. So It's not all butterflies and rainbows, right? Students put up walls. You get all this stuff, and you may not get the reaction out of them that you are wanting. And it's easy to give up at times, right? But that's what makes it worth it all. You're gonna find that once you get them up and moving, and you put the art component and the music and the dance and everything into it, social emotionally, they're breaking down barriers that they didn't even know that they had, and they're able to share more. And it makes it a whole lot easier. I have suggestions for that, but I want to make sure that I'm done in the next 5 minutes. So I'm so sorry. The little ones bring on the butterflies. Little ones, they tell you how they feel all the time. It's amazing. If you teach early elementary, they'll let you know. They'll let you know how it's going. Okay? Now this is the We Are Awesome connection. And there's maybe a little bit of hint of Kanye West for me. This is where I kind of take a little bit of a detour. And it's important because I've been given this platform. And when I'm given a platform, I'm going to use it about things that are important to me. So why the arts, right? I mean, you're here and you're watching, which is amazing. Why are the arts important? Why is integrating it important, right? Now, I'm not a data guy. I've never been a data guy. A lot of teachers are, a lot of you probably are, and data is very important, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, but I also think that data you can use data in many different ways to say what you want to say. That being said, I do have some data. So I'm going to change the theme and I'm going to give you some data. Theater arts data, okay? The Houston Education Research Consortium did research on 42 different schools and showed that the implementation of arts in their school showed a 3.6% disciplinary reduction rate, a 13% increase in writing scores, an 8% increase in compassion for others. Stanford University found that those involved with the fine arts, theater, music, art in grades K through 12 are 4 times as likely to be recognized for academic achievement, are shown to read twice as often, and perform community service 4 times as much. Chicago Arts Partnership in Education found that arts impact developmental growth that closes the level between high and low income students for academic achievement. And finally, from my heart and soul and my extremely big brain, the arts are essential. We aren't specials, we aren't enrichment, we definitely aren't fluff. We are essential to human growth and the human condition. We are classes that are vital in our own right, but we also aid in so many other of your subjects that you teach. We are just as important as math, science, technology, ELA, physical education, and every other subject. I'm not saying that we're more important, but I'm saying that we are on the same team here. We're the first to, things are, anyway. Of course music helps with math. It's math. Of course art helps with math, because it is math. Of course theater education helps with history, math, and reading and writing, because Shakespeare is history. Lighting design, costume design is math. Playwriting and play reading is reading and writing. And of course they all help build empathetic, high-achieving students, because all of these things let students work and learn and play with each other in a way that encourages and improves collaboration, listening, and compassion. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A little dramatic. This isn't an arts advocacy presentation, but I'm not going to throw away my shot if you're given the chance, right? But let's be clear when I say that we are all awesome. And I mean that. All of us. So I did want to close with saying that in this crazy world, you deserve the world. I mean that 100%. We are doing one of the best jobs and the most important job in the world. Be passionate about it. Love your job. Maybe you're in a rut right now. You'll get out of it. Know why you got into the job, or know why you're going to get into the job, and change the world. That isn't hyperbole. We do what we do because we love to do it. We love the kids and we love to watch them grow and mold them into human beings. You are amazing and you are worth it. Know that you're worth it. Go out there and change your classroom in a positive way. I'm so guilty, so guilty of being lazy sometimes and not giving them what they deserve, falling into a rut and just doing the same old thing. Now's not the time for that. The world's in turmoil, education's in turmoil, everything's in turmoil. reignite that passion, however you want to do it. Maybe everything I said is not important to you, but find a way to reignite that flame that's inside of you that made you get into education and go out there and make your students better people. Put them first with this, and you will change the world. Okay? Now, 2:45. I wanted to leave 5 minutes for questions. I made it. Are there any questions? I will also take compliments and intense criticism. There's some stuff. Okay? I'm going through now. A lot of us wear safety ball caps. There we go, Coach. Thank you so much. PowerPoint. Someone's laughing. Okay. When my internet glitches, I freeze. Students say, I think he saw a bee. My favorite is when their internet freezes and you're still teaching, but they have to let you know. Mr. T, you're froze. Okay, yep. Any questions? Any at all? I know this was a lot, and I know that this is something that maybe you weren't expecting. I'm not sure what the other presentations were like. I've never done anything like this before, but I kind of leaned into my strengths. I do believe that you will be getting the presentation officially somewhere else. I'm not sure. I think I can probably share it with you as well at some point. So yeah, absolutely. But I think that, yeah, this is wild. I just had a lot that I wanted to say. And I think in current ed format, it gives us all the chance to do some costumes and keep it interesting.
Looks like you do have a question there, Chad, about the recommendations for online plays.
Is it
from Stephanie Sichelski?
Oh, yeah. I just saw that too. Okay, so Coach, I would say, yeah, to speak to you, Coach, what I think is that it is a lot of times we have discussions, and I think right now it's a perfect thing to say. Right now in a world of turmoil, it's a perfect time to take risks, right? Things are like, what are we doing? What are we doing right now? It's a pandemic. We're teaching. What is going on? Now's the time to take those risks. Any recommendations for online plays to do with students with disabilities? That's a great question. If you go to, I check out playscripts.com in regards to that. They offer a wide variety. There is a place that I know in New York called Arc of Onondaga that you could they do a lot of stuff, but they do it with, some professional theaters. So I'm not sure if those scripts are going to be easy to grab. I would just Google search and do playscripts.com and find out what works best for those kids, because I'm sure that will work. Okay. And if not, I can do some thinking and I can get back to you. Questions like that, it's hard for me to be like, think about this. That I'm not exactly sure about. I will move to here. If you're interested in following me or talking and continuing a dialogue, once again, this was way less a dialogue than I would have liked to have done. I would have liked to talk to Coach about hats, but then we would have been talking about hats for like 20 minutes and then the presentation would have gotten kind of wacky. But if you want to reach out to me, I got rid of my normal Facebook during this whole mess, but I do have like an education Facebook. So if you search for me, it's literally a picture of a guy on Zoom. It may not look like me. I've got a hat on, but I don't have my beard and I look like 20 years younger without the beard. Instagram, it's my education Instagram to see what I'm up to. You can go Mr._Tallon and find me there. My email is here, cmtallo@ilstu.edu. If you have questions or concerns, or you think something that I said was awesome or off base, or you want to know how to implement it more, please reach out to me. That isn't just something that you say. It's not like, hey, how you doing? But you don't really care. Let's talk wherever you're from. Let's talk. Let's create together. I think it's something that's really, really exciting. I think it's really exciting. And with that said, Andy,
I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to give you the big hook from the side of the stage.
Yep.
Thanks for an awesome session. If you're not fired up after Chad's high energy session, I don't know what to tell you. So just really quick, some housekeeping things. Again, we've got one more time frame with 2 sessions to choose from. Again, a reminder about the survey. We'll be emailing that out to you next week, so be sure to fill that out so we can keep producing a quality conference in the near future. Hopefully we'll be back in person next year. And if you are interested in those PD credits, if you're a practicing teacher, make sure you check the schedule page as well. That information is listed there. And with that, take a quick break and come back to your next session. Thanks a lot.